And that is a conscious choice where you also are able to choose how you want to deal with that experience.
And everyone deals with it individually, right? So again, depends on what it is. So it could be grief. Everyone will deal with that individually. But there'll come a time, and maybe for some people, sadly, there won't come a time. But I'm going to suggest to all the people who are watching you and I that I would ask you to. There's at some point when you've gone through the grieving process, you've come out the other side, and at some point you have to, as sad as things might be, you have to rationalize and say, I can't bring that person back, or I can't, turn that failed business venture around. Does that mean I need to harbour that with me for the rest of my life and take that through me for the rest of my life? No. No, you don't. We do. A lot of people do, unfortunately, right? But that's where it's all about recognising that you don't need to take that through with you for the rest of your life. Your past does not need to equal your future.
Correct. Yeah. That's pretty deep, because it also, and it comes back to that whole perception as well, because sometimes people feel that if they've gone through a traumatic event, and I'll say whether it's business or personal, that you're almost expected to act or deal with it in a certain way and for a certain time. There's a certain level of judgment if for whatever. Oh, I need to. Oh, sorry. Can you still hear me, Tony?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, a little. I can hear you.
Yeah.
So a little bit echoed, but I've got you. So you're right, and so this comes back to that whole fear of being criticised by other people. You live your life how you choose to live it. You grieve if you want to grieve. You do what you want to do, but then, as I said, there'll come a point when you have to also recognise that it's time to move forward, and it's time to get back into the swing of things, because we only get one shot at this. So if you drag, if I kept dragging around with me the mistake from 2004 and 5, then I'd never be able to move forward. Right? But yeah, it used to hurt me. It doesn't hurt me anymore. Here I am talking quite openly and public about it, right? So this is in the records forever. But it used to hurt me a lot. But then again, I got to a point where it's like, this is not serving me.
Yeah.
It just is not serving me anymore.
Yeah. So I want our audience to be able to go away with, some tips and tricks and some homework today, because I'm mindful that we've got
more homework.
10 minutes, and I think this is a really critical one, because we've done a lot of work around, our goal setting, our why, our passions, about where we want to be able to go. And people are setting things in place, and we're always going to come up with things that are limiting us in some way or form. And I'd like people to be able to, like you said, identify, be aware of them coming up. I talk about the full moon. Full moon brings up a lot of things, and it seems to be in patterns, just like everything else. The tides and the moon, things in patterns in your life, and you deal with things a certain way. Take the time to be able to reflect, and then work out, okay, how do I address it and nip the situation at the bud? Some tools, and I think maybe your 5-step tools, is that part of your goal setting sheet?
I can. No, it's not, but I can take a photo and just put this in the show notes. So that's easy to do. Or it's back to front. Sorry, that's the right way. I'll take a photo of that. Look, it all comes back to the reflection of elevate the consciousness of your thought, because a lot of us are doing things without even knowing we're doing them. We're operating at our subconscious. We don't even realize we've done it because we've done it so long.
Yeah.
So this is about stopping, reflecting, recognizing that we're acting in a particular way. And again, it's not that when you first do this, and I think I've said this here before, you might notice that you acted in a fearful way, or you procrastinated. You might notice a day after it happened. But then, because you're starting to elevate your consciousness of it, next time you might notice half a day after it happened, and then 4 hours after it happened, and then 2 hours after it happened, and then 1 hour after it happened. And then you get to a point when you're increasing your level of conscious awareness around it, that you're noticing at that point in time when you're procrastinating and you have a choice. So when you recognize something, you've still got the choice. You've still got the choice to either A, stop procrastinating and get back into whatever it is that you should be doing, or B, you can still go and procrastinate. You've got that choice, but at least you have the choice. Now, I'm going to suggest to you to obviously do the things that take you towards your goal, but at least you've got a choice. In a lot of cases, however, we don't have the choice because we're operating at such deep-seated, our subconscious, things have just been embedded in us since we were kids, and we don't even realize it. Like we talked about the whole self-sabotage thing. We mightn't even realize it. But perhaps when we were kids, our parents used to say, money is the root of all evil, and all these types of questions. And so we have this real aversion to wealth, and we don't even realize it.
Yeah. Or you just didn't do, why didn't you do good enough for in sport or in your subjects or whatever that might be. And in your adulthood, you might be aware of that. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So I'll take a picture of that and I'll put that in the show notes for people to play around with. I'll also put a link into a YouTube video that I did recently on this very topic, and I go into it in a whole lot more depth. So if people are interested, I'll put the link in. They can go and check out my YouTube video on that.
Well,
that's a good start. If people do that, that's a good start.
Yeah, I'll add the link to the description of the live as well. I couldn't add it in the description when I was typing, so I'll do that when I'm on the computer again.
Sure.
Add that link. So Tony Meredith coaching, and then there'll be / whatever the link is. Do you have a YouTube video, Tony? Is it YouTube?
Yeah, a YouTube. Yeah, you've got YouTube. Yeah, correct. Yep. Yeah, I've got YouTube. Yeah. Yep. So I'll put that in as well. So there'll be photos. There'll be all sorts of fun stuff.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'll see if there's any questions.
Hey, that's okay. Any other questions? And any other questions and comments? I see there's still a few people watching us, which is great.
There are a few people here.
Thank you. I appreciate that, by the way. Tuesday night. What is it? It's almost 9 o'clock.
School holidays, and it has school holidays all around, I believe. So I'm actually glad a few people took time out from their school holiday evenings to be with us this evening.
Fantastic.
I have the topic that we were discussing today really hits home to me a lot, because I know it was definitely for my own growth, my own personal and professional growth. There were a lot of things that I needed to be aware of and even on a daily basis, there'll be certain things I don't really want to call this person, but I do the countdown. The moment that it comes up is I go,
that's
5, 4, 3,
5, 4, 3, 2, 2, 1.
Make the call.
Go.
It's funny.
Make the call. Make the call.
I think it's funny. I think people are more afraid of real estate agents now than they are of the police. So, parents are telling their children funny things these days. I love my real estate agent partners. They're have great relationships with them, and like you said, it's just part of growing that relationship and getting out of that belief system and coming up with more empowering ones.
Well, it is, and it's, again, go back to your goal. If your goal is to secure a property, then you're going to need some help, whether it be direct with vendors or with real estate agents. And so in order to do that, your goal's down here, and you're stuck back here, and in between you and the goal is conversations with real estate agents. Well, guess what? You got two choices. A, you have the conversations and you develop the skill, you build the muscle, or B, you let it beat you, which means that you never get your property development dreams. So it really comes down to that, and recognize that the first time you do it, you're going to fumble and bumble your way through it, and you're going to make mistakes, and you're going to put down the phone and you're going to say, I wish I had have said that, or I wish I had have asked this.
Yes.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
But that's called growth and learning, right? And so accept that's going to happen and front up the next time and learn from the mistakes you made the first time around. And then your third call will be better than your second, and your fourth call is better than your third, and so on and so forth. And you keep building the muscle, and before you know it, you'll then be just firing off calls left, right, and centre to agents, and you'll be securing that property that you want.
Yeah, fabulous. Excellent, Tony. Any last minute ones? If not, it looks like no, Jin. Oh, it's pouring in now. Jin, I think it's the lack of trust of the profession mixed with lack of confidence and perceived knowledge. Still got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, Yeah, not convinced of that, Jin. So a lot of people just play a story in their mind around real estate agents, and I believe a lot of it is the fear of not having the answers or being made to look a bit foolish.
Yes.
Right, and so it comes back to, for me, back to the criticism from other people.
Mm.
It's confidence.
Mm.
And how do you build confidence? How do you get confidence? Right? You can start feeling, you can start to tell you, start as if. Remember, go back to point number 5. Start as if. Start to feel confident now. You mightn't be confident, but start to tell yourself you're confident. I've got this. I can make this phone call. I can do this. You keep saying these things over and over and over and over, and then you lean into it and you just go.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Remembering, calling an agent is an illogical fear. You will not be in danger, I can assure you.
You will not be in danger. That's correct. And it's very likely the agent might have similar limiting beliefs as well. It's probably petrified
Absolutely.
of
Absolutely.
questions, which a lot of agents are probably, unless they're specific and development agents don't really know. So, you're in the same.
Correct.
However,
Correct.
I have to say, having the fear of mice and rats is a very logical fear. Just saying. Yes, it is. It is true.
No, I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
Said that to my husband many times, and it's true. Peter says reflections are critical. Be aware of them, but don't let them stop you living your life to the fullest. Share your experience with others. Peter, very wise words from Peter. Peter has seen me fearful of a mouse in the house, so that was very logical.
Right. Okay. Incredibly logical, and it's a good point, and that's the whole idea. It's like reflect, go back and look at the event. What can you take from it? Can you learn from it? How can you improve, and then move forward?
Yeah.
You don't drive your car. We've said this before. You don't drive your car staring in the rear view.
Yeah.
By all means, something happens. Look, reflect, learn, write some stuff down. Take that information and now go. Always go in a forward direction.
Fall forward. Yeah.
And fail fast too.
Yeah.
Fail forwards and fail fast. Any other questions or comments?
No, let me see. Scrolling up. Looks like that's it for the evening.
Beautiful. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's been fun.
It's always fun. It really is one of the highlights of my week. I really, really enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thank you. It is full moon tomorrow, everyone. Enjoy the energies, and anyone that does follow the moon, have a look. Either way, it's an eclipse. It's a partial eclipse. So even if you're not hippie yaya like I am, enjoy the beautiful light of the moon and bask in its all beautiful glory.
All its glory. And in finishing, if anyone wants us to talk about other topics, put it into the show notes, put it into the comments, and we would love to be able to help you out.
Exactly. Happy school holidays for the rest of the week in New South Wales. I think Melbourne, Victoria's gone back to school. I don't know what it's like in Queensland. Is it school holiday season?
So for some kids, they've gone back. For my kids, they haven't. So I've still got 2 kids at home. But for the majority of Queensland, they've gone back. But my kids have got a 3rd week of holidays. So the joys of private schooling.
Exactly. All's good. All right, Tony. Thank you so much for a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Cheryl. Bye bye. Thank you. Talk soon.
Bye bye.